Or say, hey guys, it's Klaus. Hey, it's been a few days. 1.0 has been here now for 4 or 5 days. What do you guys think about the new maps? You've had some experience on them. What do you think? They sure look good if your computer can handle the higher settings. But what do you guys think? That's the title of the video. What do you think about the new maps? And just to clarify right off the bat here, this is not a video where I'm going to explain every change on all the maps and all the new secret hiding spots and the best places to go and blah, blah, blah. That's not what it's about. It's just about, I'll give you my no bullshit first gut feel opinion of what I think about the new maps. And I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? You've played it for a few days now. Huh? Let's get into it. I'll show you a game here. And in the true no bullshit style on this channel, I'm not going to show you a game where I did the 10,000 damage because, oh, look at me, I found this great spot on the new map. I'm going to show you a game where I utterly sucked because I'm so confused now. Places that used to be good are no good. The terrain has all been changed around. It seems that where I thought my gun depression would work doesn't work anymore. I'm lost, and I'm sure you guys are too. Let's watch a game. And the first thing I've noticed with the new update and all the new HD maps is this. You have to stare at this screen for a lot longer. At least I do with my system. This is the new HD 1.0 update. Where you used to get into the game, or I used to get into the game and see the full countdown now. Now I get into the game and there's only 10 seconds left. But that's my system. That's nothing to do with the update and the way I'm running it. And this is as good as it gets. This is the best quality of replay I can show you guys so far, which really sucks. But I got to tell you, thanks to those of you who stepped up on my Patreon page and pledged support. It was overwhelming. I appreciate it so much. I did what any red-blooded North American would do. I whipped out the credit card. And I'm upgrading the system, guys. This is the only 1.0 replay you'll see of this shit quality. I've got, I don't know, about a week's worth of the older patch replays to show you. And then hopefully my new system will be here and we'll be able to watch things in a little bit higher quality. But shout out to you guys that helped and supported. Klaus 1.0 is almost here. But let's get into this game. I've pulled up here. And I'm in a tank with really good gun depression, and I'm wondering what's going on. I'm hit by a defender. There's no hill here anymore. Has this map changed? I'm confused. I pulled up into a spot where I can usually pull up and poke over the ridge line, and I don't even know if this map's been changed, but it just feels like has the terrain, but it seems flatter. Okay, it just seems the hill is still there, but it seems like the slope leading up to the hill is not as steep as it was before. So 10 degrees of gun depression doesn't really matter. You only need 7 or 8. So a defender can shoot me and he's hull down, and I've got to keep driving my big stupid unarmored tank towards him to try and shoot him. So I'm just sitting here thinking, what the hell's going on? And I don't even know if this particular map was flattened out or changed that much. But I've played all the other maps, the new ones that have been changed, and my overall observation is just they all just seem a lot flatter. There's rocks and houses that have been removed. They're all much longer lines of fire, flatter. It just seems to me that 10 degrees of gun depression, there aren't as many spots where you can really use it. It's almost as if, get this, that 5 or 6 degrees of gun depression is all you need now. And with the long lines of fire, if you've got a pretty fast tank with really good armor and a strong turret, and you don't really need a lot of gun depression, you're really going to be at an advantage. And what kind of tanks have that? But, you know, I don't want to judge yet because I haven't played it enough, and I want your feedback, what you guys think. And after I play in the hundreds of games, then I'll give you a more detailed opinion. But what I've noticed right off the bat is that everything seems more open and everything seems flatter. And places that you thought were good, you know, good spots to go in the past are death traps now. And there are obviously new places where you can use the strengths of whatever type of tank you like to play. Now, I'm not going to go through all the details, but the Quickie Baby did an excellent video. Let's watch this potato fucking gun. Like, look at this. Watch this. Like, you know, give me a fucking break. Anyways, what I was saying, Quickie Baby did a pretty good video because he streamed and played all the new maps, and he has that overhead mod where you can record, you know, from overhead mode and stuff. I'm going to leave a link to his video about his first impressions on the new maps and the big changes. The little eye on the top right corner of the screen. He did an excellent review of them if you want to get kind of have a look at it before you go out and die over and over and over again going to the spots that you used to go to. One thing that's for sure is that we're all going to have to relearn positions, which I guess is a good thing because, you know, the game probably was getting boring to some people. You always go to the same spot. This position's overpowered. You have to go here. You get hull down, blah, blah, blah. But now, what worked in the past does not necessarily work now. We have to relearn these maps and relearn positions. And I don't know them all. So like in this game, I completely suck. Like everywhere I poke where I used to be able to use gun depression and get hull down, I poke out and there's a defender hull down. Ready to shoot me. So it's either that I just suck in this game or I don't understand the map. We're talking about new maps and all the new maps, but maybe this new patch should have been called, instead of, you know, the new maps have been introduced, maybe they should have just said less maps are being introduced, because holy shit, there's a lot of maps missing. And there's so many maps that have been removed, some permanently and some just for reworking. And I could list them all here. Here, let me put a list of them. The maps that have been removed. And holy shit, I mean, look at this list. None of these maps are in 1.0 now. Like I said, they're not all gone for good. Some of them are being reworked. But holy shit. Like, what the hell is the map rotation going to look like now? And actually, Des Games did a great video going over the maps that have been removed and whether he thinks they're going to be removed permanently or removed just temporarily. Look at this list. And I'll leave the link on for Des Games' video on which maps have been removed, so you can just have a quick look at that. It's just unbelievable. I already was getting 2 or 3 or 4 games in a row on the same map, and now with all these maps gone, time will tell. The new map rotation is going to have less maps, that's for sure. So overall, just initial gut feeling, the graphics and just the work they did on all the backgrounds and the detail seems fantastic. My system cannot show it to you. I can actually play with higher settings, but I cannot record and show them to you on the higher settings because my system sucks. But like I said, thanks to your guys stepping up and helping me out, I will be upgrading and hopefully showing you the game in all its glory in the future. So graphically, it seems spectacular. Map changes. Just my initial gut feel is there's so many more open areas. There's so much less cover as far as buildings and little undulations and ridges that used to separate different portions of the map. Everything seems flatter. Places where I used to go, you know, in something like an Action X and just poke over a ridge line and use my full gun depression to be able to poke and use my view range and shoot. I go to the same spot now, and holy shit, where's the ridge line? The ridge line's not there. I kind of drive up, and boom, 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 boom. I'm shot by 6 TDs that are in bushes 400 meters away. And obviously, the positions that were strong in the past that I've grown to love to go to are no longer good positions. So there's a whole relearning that has to happen. And I'm not going to I'm not going to say, oh, this fucking sucks. It's you. Well, it's a little frustrating because you go to places that you used to like to go and they don't work anymore. But maybe it's just that there's changes and I don't know the new spots yet. Maybe it is all balanced out. Maybe there's new places that tanks with really good gun depression could go to. And you notice me mentioning gun depression a lot. It's just because that's the big thing that I've noticed is that everything's flatter. And when everything's flatter, if you've got a tank that has shit hull armor but 10 degrees of gun depression, you're not very good on a flat map. You have to find those ridge lines where you can poke over, use your gun depression so that only the little sliver of your turret is showing, right? That's the strength of the tanks with gun depression, as opposed to, say, the Russian tanks that, like an IS-7, just needs a little rock protecting its lower plate, and then it's golden. And it doesn't have a lot of gun depression. But if the maps are now flat, with just, you know, small undulations and small rocks around, then holy shit, it's going to put the tanks with really good gun depression as their strength. It's going to put those at a big disadvantage. But like I said, it might be just that I don't know the new spots yet, and on some of the maps I do notice there's lots of different terrain that I have not explored. So I want you guys to leave it in the comments. What you've played for about a week now. Obviously nobody is an expert yet, but what have you guys noticed? Overall, your opinion, do you think like the maps are completely changed now and favoring tanks with fast tanks that can get into great positions early, that have armor and don't need good gun depression? TDs that can hide in, there seems to be bushes that you can hide in 400 meters away and just shoot unspotted. Is it going to be Swedish TD time now, where, you know, those guys are just going to invisibly shoot you? Like Erlenberg, man, talk about a flat open map. Now you can't go anywhere there without getting just hammered by invisible TDs. There's nowhere you can go without just driving into the open. So what are your feelings? What do you guys think? Do you think the change? I think we can all say graphically, if your system can handle the game, spectacular. We're certainly all on a learning curve with the new maps, and I do not want to pass judgment yet until I play a lot more. Let's hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. And go check out those 2 videos, because you know, you got to give shout outs to guys that put the work in and actually try and help the community. And shout out to Quickie Baby for making a video using his overhead mod, you know, so you can see the battlefield. And he goes through some really key changes on some of the maps that he played and was surprised on. And shout out to Des Games, who did a video about all the maps that have been removed and why they were removed. Go check out those 2 videos, guys. And yeah, we'll be back with the new 1.0 replays soon. I've got about a week's worth of the old stuff to show you still. And hopefully by the time I start getting into the 1.0 replays, I'll have a better system so I can show you guys this stuff in Claus 1.0 coming soon. Thanks to your support on my Patreon page. I can't thank you guys enough. Those of you who stepped up, man, I really appreciate it, guys. I got a pretty big credit card bill to pay off in the future, but it's worth it because we're here to stay. It's Klaus's World! Klaus's World 1.0 coming soon.